Welcome to Search for Signs. My name is Gary Willing. If this information interests you, please press the like and subscribe button and press the bell for notifications. So I think the best way to start any year is right before midnight. I mean, like just a few seconds before midnight. Just lift up your left foot and stand on your one foot. And that way, when the clock ticks over to midnight, you're standing on just your right foot. So you're starting off on the right foot. Somebody told me that a long time ago. I thought it was really funny. But anyway, you can even do every day like that. Just when you get out of bed, just, land on your right foot out of bed and stand up, and then you're starting each day off on the right foot, I guess. But anyway, I hope 2020 is turning out to be a good year for everybody personally. And I know, of course, the tensions globally right now and in Washington are palpable, to say the least. And I hope that what's going on in the Middle East doesn't turn out to be what one of my friends and coworkers was talking about the other day, about how he thinks it's going to be the next, world war. So let's hope. We'll see how it ends up. But I don't think it will. But is it dangerous? Absolutely, of course. Now, there was a gentleman who just commented. Actually, I was in the middle of making another video, which I'll put up later. But and then I read his comment, and I thought I would talk about it, because it's very common to have this type of reaction to this information and so forth. But his name is Alan. I can't pronounce his last name, so we'll just leave it at Alan B. I don't want to butcher the last name. So, and he was commenting about, the video I put up about Maitreya's interviews, which I put up a lot of videos about Maitreya's interviews on TV. So he was commenting on one of them. And this is what he said. Is it possible to have so many videos and no one can find them out? Decades ago, I was convinced overall seems intuitively acceptable, and it made sense. Then found many contradictions in the body of information supposedly given by the master, and saw that many who work for Share, he's talking about Share International, do not notice anything. They are blind and don't think at all, with the excuse that this is beyond mind. But now the information is even more problematic, because where are the interviews? It is inconceivable to me that no one can spot them, therefore even more reason for skepticism. Author of, I guess, this channel, and Mike, I'm not Mike, maybe he's talking about microphone, I guess, I don't know. Any comment on this? So, thanks, Alan, for commenting and putting up a thoughtful comment that I can kind of, gives me things to talk about. Now, you might not like my very simple answer in the beginning, but you have every right to be skeptical. You have every right to, be doubtful that Maitreya is even on TV, given the fact that no one has really recognized him on TV. Now, I'm not being defensive, because I'm the one putting up these videos about Maitreya on TV all the time. But so I understand completely where you're coming from. And really, the true answer is only time will tell if it's right or not. So just, wait and see, I guess. Now, in the meantime, it would make sense and behoove all of us to work toward, bringing about justice in the world. And whether you think Maitreya is on TV or not, it does make sense that we need to have peace in the world. It's always the answer of how. How do you create peace? Well, the way that the United States is doing it now is not going to help. It's only going to set us back, right? So I believe that the most important thing about this information anyway is the fact that we as a people need to stand up for peace. We as a people need to stand up to save our environment. That's the most important thing anyway. So even if you have a wait and see attitude, like, okay, well, I believed it, decades ago based on the information that I had, and it kind of intuitively, like you said, made sense, right? And now you're kind of doubting it. Well, that's understandable. And it's been a while since Maitreya's first interview in January of 2010. So 10 years, right? And, I can't, there's not much I can say to really convince you otherwise. But the only thing that I would say is that you can wait and see about that, but don't wait and see about the sense of urgency about saving our planet, and that's the whole point, So that's my simple answer to it. Now, the other part of it is that my comment you asked for my comments. So, do I think Maitreya's been on TV this whole time? Yeah, absolutely. You might have even seen him and not recognized him, because he doesn't look like the photo that is up in the top left corner that I have in this video today of him in Nairobi, Kenya. He apparently doesn't look anything like that. He might be Caucasian. He might be more African American. I don't know. I don't know how he looks on TV, but he could be very well known now, as a possibility. I'm just saying this is a possibility. He could already be very well known as a personality on TV right now, but not speaking in a way to draw attention to himself as being Maitreya. He also could be speaking on TV and not a lot of people are paying attention to him. I don't know. I don't know how it is. I think it's the first. Be honest with you, I actually think, not to try to screw it up in people's minds, because I'm trying to keep an open mind, trying to help open people's minds up, not help make their mind up for them kind of thing. But, I think he's already a well-known personality on TV, being interviewed at certain times on different channels about, it could be anything from politics to other things, to help build that relationship at first. And because humanity is so big, and the, global communications, there's so much going on right now, right? And there's always, because with 24-hour news and entertainment and so forth, that it's probably very hard for anyone to make their quote unquote name in the world, right? I'm not saying Maitreya is trying to make a name for himself, but you see what I'm saying? But it would be very, very difficult to do that. The other thing is, there's not a lot of interest in what he's saying, maybe as another option, that humanity is still asleep in a lot of ways, and is just starting to kind of wake up to the fact that we have these problems in the world and we have to start doing something about it. Now, I don't think this situation with Maitreya being on TV and not recognized is going to last much longer, because it's needed. Now, if we're still talking about this 10 years from now, and hey, where's the interviews? Then I would say that maybe it's wrong. I'm saying, trying to keep an open mind about it, right? Now, I've had so many experiences with Maitreya over my lifetime that I know for a fact, for myself, I know that there's the truth of this information. Even there was an experience I had with Maitreya when he was at a peace rally here in Georgia, and he looked at me and said, "You'll see me on TV real soon, and we're going to change the world together." Now, he wasn't talking about me and him changing the world together. He was talking about all of us changing the world together. So, and that was just a few, I think it just got like a year or so before he actually did his first interview. So, for me, that's enough for me, but you don't know me from anybody, so you have to kind of take my word at it and look at it for yourself, right? I'm not of any authority on anything, really. So, in terms of your opinion of Share International, well, that's your opinion of people at Share International. I don't have any real comment to say about that either way. I don't know exactly what they said or how they said it, and it really doesn't matter. Maitreya and the Masters coming forward is not dependent on Share International. Share International is just a group of people who are concerned about the world enough and believe enough in this information to help spread and disseminate this information as well as they possibly can. Is it a perfect organization out there? No. Is it a perfect group? No. But there aren't any perfect organizations or groups out there, so you can't, really judge it for that. And the people within Share International, I know a lot of them personally, and have known them for decades. And, I'm just as effed up and weird as they are. But, aren't we all, really, if you think about it, and so I don't judge them for what, for maybe what they said to you or whatever like that. And I don't have any comments really about that, other than they're doing the best they can with what they got. And, time will tell if they're right or not, I guess. But I haven't really, the other thing I want to talk about is the contradictions in the body of information supposedly given by the master. You'd have to be really specific on that. Are there contradictions? Maybe, but it's probably more contradictions in the way that, you personally are reading it more than anything else. I found Benjamin Creme's Master's articles to be very enlightening, especially about certain events that are going on at that time. The contradictions maybe in terms of timelines, in terms of things that he saw coming up, it's all dependent on the free will of humanity. So humanity could have changed the course and direction of its own future. So the Masters could have seen something and then it turned around and not happened. A good example, a very clear example was, according to the Master DK back in the 40s, right after World War II, they saw very clearly that we were destroying ourselves with the nuclear bomb. They saw it. It was a future that was there for humanity. At any moment it was going to happen because it was starting to materialize. That's what they saw. That's kind of how the Masters, from what I understand, my limited, very, very limited understanding of the way they view time, is they see it as many, many threads with all the different varying things going on, from very likely to very unlikely, but it was becoming very likely that we were going to destroy ourselves. That's why Maitreya had to come himself out into the world and start the process of emerging along with the Masters far earlier than they had originally expected. It was the original plan was what they saw 500 years ago was it would be another 1,000 years before the Masters were able to come out, before humanity was even ready. So if you think about it, where we're at consciously, the Masters, it's not and this is just my opinion, so I mean don't take it for what it is, okay? So I could be wrong on this, but Maitreya and the Masters of Wisdom are coming out now not because of the consciousness of humanity really being ready to absorb their information. It's more of a necessity of us saving the planet, really. So they saw it would be another 1,000 years of evolution, and conscious evolution before humanity would be ready to accept what they were teaching us. Now it was a matter of, urgency. It's like, okay, if we don't do this now, they're going to destroy the whole planet. So we have to come out now. And it was, and the crisis at that time had been diverted. Now, because of, and you can see historically, right around the time that Kennedy took office with the Cuban Missile Crisis, and a little bit before then with the Berlin Wall, and and all that kind of stuff. According to the Masters, those were the things that they saw that were going to end life on this planet, especially the Berlin Wall. It created so much tension back then between the East and the West, between Russia and the United States, that we could have destroyed ourselves. So, it taking that long, I guess, to fast forward it back to your question, is it possible that so many interviews and no one can find them out? I think that he's already on TV as a well-known personality. It's just people aren't picking up on it. And so you might have seen him, and he might not look anything like, he might have blonde hair. I don't know. I have no clue how he looks on TV. But he obviously looks very, very different than what people are expecting because nobody's picking up on it, But the reason why I think it's taking so long for us to recognize him more than anything else, and for him to increase the urgency in what he's talking about to where people start to see, as the Ben's Master said, his head above the horizon, it's not him, it's us. We are not responding well enough yet for any more information to be given to us, really. And it's like the old adage, when the student is ready, the teaching or the teacher will appear. And he's very, very patient, obviously. He's not rushing the issue because he knows better than anybody else. If what Benjamin Creme is saying is true about Maitreya, I'll leave it like that. I'll leave it open-ended, right? Then he would know better than anybody how the response of his message is coming across to humanity. And he has more patience than anybody the Christ would have more patience than any one of us and would not try to force the issue until we're absolutely ready. Now, I'll leave you with this, and I don't know if you heard this in any of the other videos, but there was a friend of mine who's a part of Share International, and she was putting on an outreach somewhere here in Georgia, I think is where it was, in Atlanta maybe. And a woman came up to her booth that they were doing and struck up a conversation talking about Maitreya and this, that, and the other, and happened to tell her that she saw who she thinks is Maitreya on TV. And she said that he doesn't look anything like that, and he's not talking about sharing the world's resources or justice, he was talking about politics and some of the solutions that he had for politics. So if what this woman is saying is true, if she really did see Maitreya on TV, right, then people are starting to pick up on it. But just maybe you haven't seen it or I haven't seen it. I haven't seen him yet on TV that I know of, but maybe I've seen him and have missed him too. It's very possible, so I don't know, but that's my long comment for it. And I hope that, like I said, I'm not trying to be defensive or, anything about what you're saying. It's more of, I truly understand where you're coming from. I really, 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 really do. But there's just so much evidence out there that Maitreya is who he is, and the signs and the miracle signs and so forth that lead me to believe there's a lot of truth to this. But, have a wait and see attitude. But take action. Help save the planet. Do that in the meantime, and you won't waste any time. If I can give you any advice, I hate giving advice to people, but if I can give you any advice, that would be it, to not waste any time, because the sense of urgency for us saving ourselves and our planet is crucial. We have to do something. I don't think we can wait much longer. But anyway, I hope this helps. Remember to take action and help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos.